Now, if there was something that affected 2.2 million Australians, it would be something that you think would make headline news. Think about all of the causes and charities and things that affect a few hundred people, a few thousand people, or even a million people. Be headline news, be front page news, right? Or what if I told you that there were some numbers that came out this week that virtually went unreported? A report was released by the Bureau of Statistics this week, and it is beyond shocking. It should be headline news, it should be a major issue, and it should be something that we are talking about a lot more than in just this conversation this evening. According to those figures, government figures collected through the census, 2.2 million assaults took place in Australia last year. That is a whopping 44% up on the same time in the previous year. 2.2 million assaults. Sadly, many of those assaults are 2 and 3 times on the same person. But at 2.2 million examples of people reaching for their fists, things getting out of control, I prefer to look at it this way. There are 2.2 million victims of assault. Many will be watching us right now. Sadly, most of them are domestic violence incidences. In one state alone, in New South Wales, it's the best part of 40,000 people. This is a national, not tragedy, but a disgrace. For too long, we have thought it was okay to get pissed and have a fight, to settle a score, that the manly thing to do was to swing a fist. Well, it isn't. I think it's the cowardly way to do it. If you've had a fight in your history, it should be something that you are deeply ashamed about, not something that you take great pride in. And our courts and our police must come down as hard as possible on this, because despite your deepest, darkest disagreements, there is no excuse for physically harming another human being. There is no excuse for turning around and ruining another person's life. There's no such thing as a nice or a happy or an accidental assault. If you decide to raise your fists in anger, you are part of the problem. And more importantly, there are 2.2 million people who are the victims. The state-by-state numbers are shocking. We'll get into those this evening, but this is something that matters. This is something that needs to be raised with politicians. This is something that needs to be a bigger issue. Because we have more than a cultural problem here. We have a catastrophe in the making. And it is one that is a problem we can no longer ignore, with 2.2 million assaults. Many repeated, many at home. This is something to talk about. This is something that matters.